Hi everyone, my new series is going to be from Grains of Gold by Hanna Karlzon. Now I pick a picture from Grains of Gold because this is her compilation book. So this picture is also in Summer Nights by Hanna Karlzon, so if you have either of the two books you can colour along if you want to. Now we have 6 buildings as you can see, and what I decided to do was to grab 6 colour cube cards. Now my next 6 are mainly, apart from that one, sort of underwater designs, but I don't think it really matters. I just picked 6 and we're going to have a go with the first one, whoops, which is card 284, and we have this range of colours. Now what I did before I came in here to make the video was I looked at this swatch chart, which is my Staedtler Design Journey swatch chart, to see whether I could match colours from every card from this chart, and I could. I had a little look at the colours and I felt that they were really well matched to this. So my first job is to find a colour for each of these. I'm only going to do one of each because, you know, I think it'll be fine. So our first one is a burgundy. We don't really have a burgundy, but we have what's called here mauve or Tuscan red, number 260. So it's going to be my first choice of pencil. Here it is. Then we have a colour called rust. Now I think this is quite similar to the burnt sienna, which is number 73. So I'm going to grab that. Now if you don't have the Staedtler pencils, I do have some comparison charts for the Staedtlers, so you can go and grab those. I think having that there is a bit silly. Let's put it there so we can see what we're doing. Right, so that and that. And then we have the terracotta. Now again, I think this rosewood colour is quite near to that, so we're going to use that. It is number 703. Then we have this Bondi blue. Now for me that looks quite turquoisey. I am going to use the turquoise, which is 35. Oh, here it is. Then for the teal, I want a bluey green, but this is where I got slightly unstuck. I decided to use these two for the last two. So the last one, which is a dark teal, I decided to use this Hooker's Green 59. And then in between the two on the swatch chart is this one, which is 359, which is teal. So I thought that would work quite well as a collection of colours for our first house. So that's what I am doing. So I'll keep those, put that up there, put our chart away. So we only need those 6 pencils. We're going to come in nice and close and have a look at our first, this is a sort of tower, isn't it? Here we go. So a bit too close. There we go, tower. So how are we going to choose? We basically got sort of browns and blues really. So I'm thinking, how are we going to make them work together? Because if we just plonk, like if you look at the picture, the blue is the background and the brown is the fish, so jellyfish, so they're separate. So I'm thinking maybe if we do the blue for the building and then the sort of turrets, the flag, the door, the flagpole in the browns, that might work. That's what I'm going to try. So I'm going to start with the lightest bluey colour, which was the 35, and do the whole main background of the tower. I haven't got a piece of paper behind my page. Hang on. I'm just going to put a piece behind. Oh, my piece is in a roll. It likes to fold itself up. There we go. Yeah, I've got some rolls of kids' drawing paper. My husband snapped them up from Woolworths when it was closing down all those years ago for 10p a roll. He just bought loads so that he could cut them up for me to put behind my colouring pages, and I still use them now. I do find A4 sheets are better because they're don't curl like these do, but I don't always have A4 sheets because I wouldn't just grab a piece of copy paper really unless I had to. What I tend to do is if I've printed something wrong, I keep the piece of paper and I put it back to back with another one I've printed wrong, and then I've got a page. I'm also looking in the windows. What do we do in here? We don't have any yellow. Ooh, that's something that hadn't occurred to me at all. I don't think any of these cards have a yellow on, or a grey for the glass. Now there's a thought. What do we do? There's a white on the next one. That might work because these pages are cream. But this one, we've got to do something. I had to have a little think. Or a big think. But I'm just filling in this bit. I'm trying to do it as even as I can without much success, but I'm not getting myself het up about it. I'm just doing what best I can, really. It's not going to be my only layer of colour anyway on this bit, I don't think, or at least on the main bit. So there is my sort of first layer. Now what I want to do now is to make this look like it's rounded, because it's a rounded building, it's not flat. So along the edges here we want a bit of darker colour to give the idea there's a little bit of a shadow. So I'm going to grab this one, the 359, which is a slightly darker colour, and put it on the edges here, then fade it a bit towards the middle, put a bit there like that, all the way along, well, all the way down like that. Oh, excuse me, I'm expecting a telephone call and someone to knock on the door, so we may be disturbed, we may not. I took in a parcel for a neighbour who's returned but hasn't popped round for it, but it's obviously got other things to do for a bit, which is fair enough, I don't mind. And waiting for a phone call for an appointment, but I don't know when the phone call's going to come to tell me, or whether in fact it'll be a phone call, if it might be a letter, or an email. I doubt it's going to be an email, to be honest, but anyway, we'll find out. So now I'm going back to my lighter colour, the 35, and now I'm going to go back over that, and then just try to continue with the sort of more layers nearer the edge. So that central part could be quite light, but it also gives me the opportunity to tidy up a bit where I think it might be a bit messy, that sort of thing. Oh, I don't know why I'm so sniffy. Sorry. Well, I'm making this video today thinking that I've got no idea when you're going to watch it, because Johanna's new book will be out, and as soon as it's out I'm going to be wanting to make videos from there. But in the meantime I'm sort of making bits and pieces, because, you know, obviously I can't make videos from Johanna's book immediately. I'm going to go back to this 359, so I need something, and I also need something to do for the next few weeks while the book is not quite out yet. I'm so hoping I'll get my copy early. I'm sure everyone is, though. Not everyone is going to be able to get their copy early. There we go. I'm happy with that now. And I'm going to actually see this bit behind here. I feel like this might be a light blue as well. So this is back to the 35. So going back and forth a bit. I hope it's not too confusing. Back to number 35, just to go around here. These are rather pretty, aren't they? These sort of sea blues, I guess that's what they are. There are lots of these. Nearly every card has got this sort of colour in it. But I'm going to try not to make every castle building the background in the same colour. Now, this top part I'm also going to do with a bit of this. Yeah, I'm going to try and mix it up a bit, or else it's going to be a bit boring, isn't it? So we'll see. I'm just going to do this one, and then on its own, not think about the rest, and then just see how it all goes, really. I mean, I always think these pages, like this, I don't know why I think this, but I always think in Hannah's book, these pages feel to me like they're sort of practice pages. I'm just going to sharpen my pencil, almost, like, you know, we're just supposed to play around with them a bit. Because most of her pages seem to have, not, I was going to say a story. I don't mean a story, but they're like a full page of all connected thing, a scene. That's what I mean. Most of her pages have a scene, whereas these don't. This is 359. Whereas when you go have a book like Rita Berman, for example, she doesn't always have scenes for her pages. Sometimes she does have little random bits and bobs on quite a few pages, or there might be a page that's just patterns, things like that. Right, now we're going to our 59. This is our darkest colour. This is called Hooker's Green. I've always felt that it's a blue. You see whether you agree with me. So I'm going to do this little bit around here first. And I'm just going to block these in because they're really small. I'm quite relieved that I'm right and this looks blue because I wanted it to be blue, not green. Now when you're picking your colour pencils, do not be afraid to swatch them. I didn't because I wasn't too worried, and I know what the colours look like. Even though I was being silly and paranoid, I know what they look like. Whereas if you aren't sure, I mean, this set I know quite well, and I have my swatch chart, so I was quite confident. But if you've got a set, you haven't got the swatch chart or whatever, you know, do swatch them down, have a look at the colours. Even if you're just colouring, I know some people, when they have a piece of paper tucked in, they just swatch on the edge of the paper. You know, you can get a bit of scrap paper or something like that, just so that you know what you're doing before you put that colour down. Because once you make a mistake, it's not always easy to rectify it. It depends on the mistake, but yeah, sometimes it can be quite tricky. I'm going to do all this bit as well in this colour. I don't really know what it is. I think it's just some sort of ornate drawing. I'm going to try and fade it towards the middle a bit. I'm still trying to go for that sort of look of a curved tower. I don't feel that it looks that good, but it's a little bit there in my vision. I don't know if I'm just imagining it. These bits, I'm just going to colour in with this dark colour. I don't know what they're supposed to be. I suppose they might be windows, but probably not. So that's a lot of blue. So we need to grab our other colours. So we've got these three. Now let's have a little think. So we've got a paler colour, a warm orangey colour, and then a more red. I think the flag would look nice in a really dark colour, but what about the flagpole? I think I'm going to do the flagpole in this colour. This is the 260, which was the sort of Tuscan red colour. Like that, and then down. So I'm going to try and make the edges a bit darker, but it's such a narrow little thing. Quite tricky to do. So there is our flagpole. I might do the door furniture, the handle and the lock, like that. Then I'm thinking, I'm thinking this flag, 73 flag. So I'm just going to put a light layer on to start with. Because our flag isn't flat, it might be darker in some areas than others. So we might want to layer up a little bit more colour, or even shade it with the 260. If we want to. Let's have a look. So I'm thinking that might be dipped in there. So I'm going to make that a little bit darker. And then just sort of fade it up like that. And I'm thinking maybe these bits are a bit darker down here. And maybe this bit. Like that. We've got a little bit of different colours in there. I'm not sure how well you can see it. It looks quite glary in the camera. I'm also going to do the front door in this colour. So I'm going to put down quite a saturated amount, but I do want another colour on top. So I'm going to try not to press really hard, because I'm going to grab this 260 and put it around the edge. And something I have noticed and observed is that if you put a bit of darker colour around it, it makes it look like it's sitting back a little bit. So it doesn't look like it's on the outside. Now we've got our steps, which I'm going to do in the 703. I'm going to do them quite lightly to start with, and then put a little bit of darker colour just at the bottom of each, like that. Now what are we going to do with these windows? I know. I am going to grab, which colour? This colour. 359, and I'm going to put some like this. Okay, I'll show you on the big window. So I'm going to just put a little bit of hatching like that to make it look like it's sort of catching the light. Now, why it would be reflecting blue is anyone's guess, but it just, now I've gone out the lines there. It just makes it look like we're doing something. I'm just going to get my eraser because I went out of the line. It didn't, not happy with that. I don't know if I can erase it very well. Yeah, that's better. So I think I'm just looking for a few final touches. So this one, I'm back with my 260. I'm going to put some stripes on the door. I want it to look like it might be wood, because then it would sort of explain why it's a different colour. So I just put some lines down on it, and then I'm also going to just darken this bit of the flag a bit more, just so it's a bit more obvious. There we go. I don't know what difference that's made really, but there is our first one. I'm trying to make it straight, but I can't. So that is our first tower with our first colour cue card. Tomorrow we've got quite the mammoth house, and then it gets a bit smaller again. But tomorrow's colour cube cards actually got extra. Actually, this one's got 6. Sometimes they only have 5. So actually, all of these seem to have 6. Some of them got 5 actually. So it means we've got quite a lot of colours to choose from. So it'll be interesting to see what we can do with tomorrow's. But today's is done. I rather like it, to be honest. I was a bit worried about the colours, but I think doing it so that we've got this sort of separation that sort of makes a bit more sense. I think it works well, because I was like, how are we going to incorporate? I could have done the window frames in a sort of wood look as well, but I'm glad I didn't, to be honest. I think I'm happy with how it looks. Right, that is me done for today. Join me tomorrow. I think it'll be tomorrow. I'll try and keep it joined up for the larger building. We'll see what we can do there. But thank you so much for watching. Please do like, subscribe and comment, and happy colouring.